So once again, namaste to everybody. Special thanks to RIMS College, Rama Institute of Management Studies, for actually giving me this opportunity to interact with you all on a session where it's all about how do we make our online teaching better. Okay. So with this, I have a few pointers to share before we officially start the presentation. First and foremost, which I wanted to share here was some ground rules of today's session. Request all of you to be on mute mode because that's going to choke the bandwidth. We have around 100 participants, close to 100. Anybody can still join in the room. I'm not locking the room. The room is still open for people to join. So humble request, please come on to mute your phones. There is one speaker, that's one microphone icon there. Please click on that and mute yourself. Or what I do is I am going to mute everybody. Give me a second. Let's not, and don't unmute yourself. That's a humble request. So let me mute everybody. Show participants videos. Okay, that's it. Everybody is muted. Please don't unmute yourself till probably the end. And any questions you have, you can always use the chat board to talk to me. I think that would be a better medium to talk. Don't adjust your camera, your monitors. I'm not that bright. I'm dark. Okay, so relax, have some fun. Let's make this interesting. So I was thanking RIMS. Let me again thank once again, especially Radha ma'am, for taking this endeavor. One of the reasons why I'm actually planning to do a similar workshop, but when she told me she wants this to reach free to the people, we actually came out to this and they volunteered to help a lot of people across the country probably get an access to this webinar. So once again, thanks to ma'am. Yes, there was a limitation because we could take only 100 people on a first come first served basis. So people who have left out, they are probably planning something else. I leave that to the management of the college to decide what next. So let's go further. A small introduction of myself. I don't want to go into much gyan, but what makes me a little bit of a person who can share some stuff on the topic today. One is I have been into NLP for the last 12, 13 years. It's all about advanced psychology in terms of understanding the mindsets. And this I've actually used it in my online sessions, which I've already been doing now for the last 2.5, 3 weeks. I did already 3 programs. So understanding the students' mindsets, the audience mindsets, and then what we need to do differently from a normal classroom session and the session here is probably what I shall be. Oh no, is it not audible now? If it's audible, somebody type yes, please.
It's audible.
Yeah, please don't. Okay, you can just type yes. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. I think the that option is on. So that's one thing. The second thing is I have around 25 years of experience in the corporate world, and I have been using a lot of online meeting platforms, and I've used this. So a little bit from the technical perspective, also I can throw some lights on. So that's a small background about me. So with this, let's get started to the actual topic of discussion of today. The first thing which I would like to throw some pointer is why change. With due respects to a lot of faculties, somewhere there is a bottleneck. Okay, somewhere there is a bottleneck, and that bottleneck is human. Okay, let's be honest. Somebody has to get mute, please. Thank you. Yeah, somewhere there is a bottleneck. The bottleneck is here, because unless we are forced to change, it's very tough for a human being to change. Big companies like Nokia did not change in time, as a result of which they perished. Okay, but I'm actually very happy that academicians across the world actually embrace change faster than probably even the corporates. Never did I even think 3 months back that a lecture will happen online. And today, across India, uh, humble request, somebody please mute your these things, please request. Thank you. Humble request. Sheetal Shah, ma'am, please mute. This is not done. Okay, let me again. See, I have to change my tracks to come back if I have to mute everybody because this is the free version of. Okay, please, humble request. Thank you so much. Let's continue again. So somewhere we don't change until we are forced to change, and this is what brings us to the first topic, which I'm going to do. I actually appreciate the fact that a lot of colleges actually embrace change faster than probably others. They actually embrace change faster than others, and that was something which is revealing to me, and I love that fact. So let us do a small activity here. The first activity is, all of you, if you can hear me, I want you to type yes on the screen, on the chat screen. Okay, a small capital S or small s, anything is fine. YES is fine. Anything is fine. I leave that to you. Lovely. I'm getting a lot of S's. Now we are going to find the first person in my audience who can actually solve this particular assignment. Let us see who is the smartest of all of us. Who is the first person to complete the below successfully? Your time starts now. The answer has to be on chat. Answer to this has to be on chat window. The activity is being going to be monitored on the chat window. Okay, don't speak. Let your systems be on mute. So here it starts now. The time limit is 2.5 minutes. Lovely. Lovely. Somebody is going at a damn. Done. Lovely. Lovely. There are a few people who did something absolutely right. I'm sorry. Scan went. Okay, last 30 seconds. Okay, pause. 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 Okay. Can we read instruction number 1? It says that read all that follows before doing anything. Nobody told you to type your name on the chat window. Nobody told you to write the next number, which is 21. Nobody told you to write XXXYYYZ or whatever. Nobody told you that E is 5. Nobody told you to type S. All that we wanted you to do is write the word done. Now, I am not blaming you. This is what is happening to us. We are in a kind of a pattern. Okay. And if you keep doing the same thing which we have been doing, it's like this person with that key. We come to a college, we used to do this thing, and suddenly we keep doing the same thing. Whatever we did in a classroom session, if we bring the same thing in an online session, trust me, somewhere there is going to be a disconnect. That's a big challenge, right? So if we want different results, okay, if we want, yeah, somebody says, Rajesh Kumar, you did it first. Agreed. Okay. But my objective was not actually to find out who did it first, but somewhere make my audience understand that if we keep doing what we did, the results will still be the same. So if we want a different result, okay, if we want a different result in our online sessions or a day-to-day session, somewhere we have to do things differently. So this is my first point of observation, why we need to change, and that is the exact reason why I brought this to the table. And let us understand, everybody will change when there is a compulsion to change, but God forbid, the doctor should not tell us to change. We should change proactively. We should change probably envisaging what the future has and change today. And let me be very clear, probably 2 years down the line, universities will be online. I'm sure the days are actually started to come. Universities are going to be online. Yeah, students would be across the, you can do a course anywhere in the world. That is where we need to understand, until it is a situation where it is desperate for us to change, It's going to be tough. But if we can change much before that situation arises, trust me, we are in safe hands. So that's the reason why I said we need to be proactive to change. And that is my entire ground that I'm building for today's program. Sheetal ma'am, you need to mute, please. Because every time I need to mute, I need to go to the main screen. Okay. Yeah. So let's change before the doctor forces us to change. So let's start the next thing. So the change has to happen from us, and it's not going to be an overnight change. It is not possible that we learn something today and the next day we do fantastic meetings. No, it takes time. It takes time gradually, and that's why I put it needs self transformation, and with time, probably the wow experience in an online session will definitely be there. So now come to the actual stuff of our session. Today's my predominant agenda is going to be five sets. First one is accepting the technology or basically embracing the technology. I'm going to share some different platforms that are available and how we embrace it. Second, getting into the student's shoes, understanding the student's mindset. What is it that they expect? How do we take care of that? Third, the background, the preparation for an online course, an online session, an online webinar, the preparation, what goes back behind the stage, that's the setup, the actual conducting of the session during the class, and probably an aftermath. It could be an evaluation system, it could be an examination system or a test system, or how do you conduct the next class and connect it to the previous class. So that's the agenda of today's program. So let's come to the first topic, which is accepting technology, selecting of the software. Before we come to selecting the software, please make a note of the very important point that I'm sharing. Okay, please don't download any software with your Google, Facebook, LinkedIn ID. Even if it says login with your Google ID, login with your Facebook ID, login with your LinkedIn ID. Humble request, please don't do that. Always sign up, and this has nothing to do with technology. Even if you are getting a slide share, I have seen people using slide share with their LinkedIn ID. Don't do that. Create a separate ID. The reason is you are giving backend access to pay of Facebook to the new service provider. We don't know about that company, any online software. Please make this a point. That's why I'm bringing this point first, and then we speak about the selecting of the software part. Selecting of the software part, there are a few softwares which are free, which allows you to take 100 participants, like the one which I am using right now. Webex is one. Zoom is one. Zoom is light on the app front, so there will not be much of lag with your students. But then, yes, there is a lot of negative vibes being spread about Zoom. However, I have a paid version of Zoom, and I am pretty satisfied. But I'm making sure that my ID of my Gmail ID, I have not given any, I have not signed up through my Gmail ID. That is one thing. And the next thing you need to be careful of in any software, please don't create personal rooms. Personal rooms IP address is sorry, personal rooms meeting number is the same, and it is very easy and prone for anybody to hack you through that system. So whenever you are doing an online presentation to your students, never use a personal room. Always schedule a room or create a room and give that room number with a password. A password is mandatory. It's a deterrent for hackers, even if it is it's one level of extra security. So please use passwords. Third, Zoom is one. There's one more thing called as Webinar Jam. That's a pretty decent one, but it is a paid version. Doesn't have a free version. Uh, so these are predominantly the top three which I kind of liked, and I've used it left, right, and center. All the three are more or less similar in terms of hurdling. Webex is slightly more. A bit more tough than the normal Zoom part. Zoom is very user friendly. I'm not advocating Zoom, but at the same time, Microsoft Teams, yes, Microsoft Teams is predominantly Skype. Skype, you log in through Skype and then you take in through Microsoft Teams. That is quite easy, and Google Meet, to be very honest, I have just tried it once, but somehow I was not that comfortable. I have just tried once, so I'm not the right person to judge on that or comment on that. I'll accept that point. Okay. Uh, uh, these are the free versions. I've got a particular question. Let me just check that question now. Okay, the software paid 100 people is more than enough, which is available in lot of free options. So I don't think you need to take a paid version. TeamViewer is predominantly used for desktop sharing. However, they have a meeting version. Avoid using that because it is not very compatible with the cell phone part. Yes, you can take a control of a cell phone also, but TeamViewer predominantly is used for desktop sharing and taking the remote access control for bug fixing and the likes of it. So if you ask me, stick to if you stick to these three four versions. But before you select, I want you to be comfortable with it. That is the key. That is the key. Yeah, free conference call is also pretty good. I tried it just last 2 days when we were analyzing which software to be used. Free conference call is also pretty good. It's good, and I used it. It's very similar to it, but I do not know how does it lag. Does it not lag because I have not done it with more number of participants. With more than 25 odd participants or 30 odd participants, I have used Zoom. I have used Skype. I have used WebEx as well to test it. So this is something where
बाद में
I
का तुम तेरा हो गया 10 मिनट
ma'am,
हाँ
somebody has to
नेटवर्क मिल
mute,
रहा नहीं
please. See, because the problem, one of the challenges in talking about technology, one of the challenges in WebEx is for muting, I need to go to the back screen, so I have to actually come out of this slide. Okay, that's a big challenge with WebEx. Okay, yeah, free versus paid. I just put this slide here not to understand because sometimes what might be free might not be free. They might say that you don't need a credit card payment. Skype is very limited for no with the new Skype. No, no, no. Now what Skype has done is they have added Meet as part of the free plan in Skype. Microsoft Meet has been added to Skype. On the Skype, once you log into Skype, you can actually see a Meet. So it gives you more number of participants. Exact number of participants I do not know, but it's quite more for a classroom 30 40 to hai. That much is there. So that is something which I'm really sure of. They also have done this as part of their COVID
अयान
support
कहाँ
program.
गया
Okay, as part of
रीना
their COVID support program. Uh, okay. Next thing which I wanted to share was the payments are made to the e-talk. I have no idea. The payments that have been made are all made to a US site using a credit card. So please be make sure that when you are making the payment, it's on a secure link, HTTPS. If you see a link with HTTP, please don't get into that mode of payment. Please be careful with the payment part. And after 1 month, if you have to unsubscribe, please make sure that you put an alarm on your cell phone, and 1 month prior you need to, or before the date, you need to unsubscribe, otherwise the bill will come for the next days. Dear sir, I
इधर
was
तो आए हैं रीना
no, it's fine as long as you are in mute. Shweta ma'am, it's fine. What is she written? This is Shweta. I don't know, but my known person I got logged in. If be there, it's okay. As long as you have gotten, it's okay. Okay, have a decent webcam. You don't have to have a very high resolution camera, a decent webcam, but there are a few musts. Please use if the light is not bright and you're using it for a evening session. Please make sure you use a table lamp so that the light comes you. Yes, I am even now I'm using a laptop, but this is my color. Okay, so so this is my color. So don't adjust your monitors. Okay, earphones are a must. If you're doing an online session, okay, can you please repeat about payment concept? Yes, that is okay. I'm putting in chat a particular terminology. When you see your okay, you need to see if this HTTPS is there on the address bar of your browser. If S is not there and only HTTP is there, that means it's not a secure link. So whenever you're making a payment, you should be extra careful that this S part is there. Uske baad mein there will be a lock sign also, nice lock sign. So that is something which you need to take care of. Okay, yeah. uh, then you need to have a earphone, a must, a microphone, a must. Okay, the laptop's microphone usually is not that highly receptive. and we need the audience to have a comfortable feel sitting at the part at his residence or wherever they are. Second thing, request all your participants also to have an earphone and microphone. Okay. The reason is if we don't, I mean, today's students will default have a earphone and microphone. The reason is sometimes there will be a positive feedback.
छोटा बनाने वाले कच्चा की
What
पक्का
comes out from the mic, actually goes back to the speaker. So probably you might find a positive feedback which might not be, which might get into a noise kind of a scenario. Okay, I have a question. If we register through Google, I do not know, sir. For example, my Zoom, which paid version which I have taken, every month on a set date, it will the money gets debited from my credit card which you have used. Okay, so if you want to deactivate it, use it for only 1 month, then what we need to do, one day prior at least, 24 hours prior at least, you need to actually go ahead and deactivate your account or say I want the free version, I don't want the paid version. That's what it means. Yes, host can be different and a presenter can be different. It's not a speaker. And then you can give the control of the proceedings to the presenter and take back control. In WebEx can be different. We call them, we don't say speaker, we call them presenter in technological terms. Host can make other mute and yes. Okay, in WebEx, host can be different to the speaker. Host can allow. Yes, you can allow control. Yes. So questions I'll probably watch which is coming on the flow. I shall answer it. Otherwise, remember to ask these questions again. Okay, at the end of the session, I'm open for any number of questions. Don't worry on that. So we go further. The next slide. So here is something as faculties somewhere we are not we don't have that kind of technical expertise. So I just thought these few things are important. Please understand. Don't log in. The main thing which I repeat again and again, whether it be a Zoom app or even a slide share, if you're downloading some stuff from SlideShare or Site HR, whichever, please don't log in with your Gmail address or Facebook ID or LinkedIn ID, even though it might be the easiest way thing because you don't have to sign up for the page. Sign up for the page. That is very, very, very important. Okay. So that's the key thing which I would like to say. And regarding the software, play with the software which you like, you're more comfortable, take charge and go ahead. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, now comes the most important part which I wanted to share with all of you. So I'm going to come back magic of magic. Okay, so this is something which all of us will enjoy. So here I'm actually going to show you a particular magic, and I'll tell you why I'm showing you a magic. Okay, what is the context between a magic and a particular session? So what I'm doing is I'm going to stop the sharing. Okay, so all of you can see me. Can one person say yes once you can see me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mute the phone, please. Yeah, mute, please. Thanks. That's enough. Yeah. Now I'm going to lower my camera to a particular screen here. Okay. Okay. Now I'll not be able to read because my screen is facing down. So after I finish this particular trick, I shall actually come and share with you all the reason why I am showing this. Okay. Now understand this. Okay, there are three cards: Queen, 5, and 8. I repeat: Queen, Queen, 5, and 8. This is visible to everybody, correct? Basically, we have the Queen, 5, and the 8. So, all of you, if I ask you a simple question, where is the 5? All of you will say the center card. So, I am just picking this center card and putting it on the on the mat in front. So basically this is queen and this is the 8. So which card is this supposed to be? The 5.
Fine.
Okay, let's come back. Okay, so all of you saw the card that was there, the 5 had become a joker. Okay, now before we jump, how it became a joker, why it became a joker, and what is the context? I'm not bothered about the magic. I'm more bothered about the context in which I showed this trick. And that is where I come to my next slide. I also show before the end of the program how to do this magic as well. There is a reason, there is a logic behind it. Okay, so we go further, and that's where we come. We need to put ourselves into the students' shoes. Let me open the chat window so that I can actually see if anybody is typing. Yeah. Okay. First and foremost, let us understand today's students are more tech savvy than us. We are probably two generations behind them in terms of tech savvy. They know gadgets inside out. So if we want to scale up to them, there are two, three things which we need to do. One is accept the software and practice on the software before we jump. Okay, because inherently, if we don't have access to the control of the software, it's going to be a big challenge. Just like in a classroom, you are the king or the queen. You know where the board is. You know which slide comes after which slide. You know the layout of the classrooms. You know inside out about the place which we are in. That gives you a psychological confidence. But when we come to an online platform, we need to understand that software, owning of the software and accepting the software is going to give you that extra confidence. Okay. Next, connect dots from different planes. Now, this is one more idea which you can actually use to connect the dots. Now, here is where the reason why I showed you a magic was not because I wanted to show a magic, but I am going to connect a different plane dots into a particular session. The reason why I showed you a magic was I need to get the attention of my audience. And if I can connect it with something which is totally tangentially something else, okay, a simple magic, I can actually show you the magic could have connected a subject which I'm going to show you in my next slide, that it did connect to a large extent. So this is something we need to do, that extra work, that extra research of how to bring about a particular topic in something which is totally tangentially different. If we are able to do that, half your job is done, because that is one way to keep students interested. The same classroom session which we do, if we replicate it on the online, it's not going to work, for the simple reason because in a classroom you can gauge your audience. You can see that this person is, they are getting, slightly rigid, they are getting not, they're not in the comfort zone, and you can actually change your course. But in online right now, all I can see is a screen and that lens which is staring at me. Okay, so I need to innovate, I need to work backend and try to create a program where I can hold on to people's attention. So connecting dots, especially from different planes, works. Tangentially different, atrangi socho, it works. Going further, now this is one thing which I've observed. I'm sure all people who have started taking online classes would have observed this. Students actually are more focused in a class, in an online session, than probably in a real world. The reason is simple. In a classroom, when you're sitting, the board is here and there is more scope for people to get distracted from extreme left to extreme right. But when I'm looking at a cell phone, okay, I'm looking at a cell phone or I'm looking on the screen, my focus is actually much more narrower, and because it is narrower, the focus is much more stronger. And the second part is, when I ask a question, okay, especially if I look at a name and say, Fatima ma'am, a question to you. Now, if Fatima ma'am was a student, she does not have a place to hide. In a classroom, kya hota hai, whenever one student you ask the question, he will look here down something, and then what happens, you ask the next person the question. But here, since you are not getting in the reaction, you probably persist to the same person. So students are left to defend themselves only. They cannot go ahead and take it to another end. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why we need to understand the students' mindsets. With this in place, let's go further, and this is something which is the key. Now, oops, okay, we said 3x. Okay, if you used to do 1 days of work to have a 1 hour session on the online world, you need to do 3 times the work for the same 1 hour online session. Like it or not, that is a fact. Okay, and the magic of magic is not the magic, it is the setup to the magic. That is the key. And like I promised you, I'm going to show you how we do the trick, because understand the efforts that it takes to create a small 10-second magic. Okay, so let me just stop this slide sharing, come back on the screen, and this is what happens. This card that you saw is actually a half card. Okay, I have actually cut this card. Okay, it probably will be like this. I've actually cut this card, stuck this onto this to make it look real. So this is one card. I have a joker here, the second card, and I have a 8 here. So what I do, I hide the joker, okay, and I keep this here like this. I show it to you like this, and then when I slide the card, I take out the joker, okay, and it keeps here. So this card, the 5 comes along with it. Okay, it's not about this, but what I'm saying is the effort, the setup is the key. If we don't do the required efforts required for an online session and we go with the same flow which we are doing in a classroom session, it's not going to work. We need to probably do 3 times the effort, if not more. Even for this session, probably to create the content for this session, it probably took me much more than 1.5 weeks. I can envisage this program probably 2.5 weeks back, and since then I have actually been roaming around to get I'm actually roaming around to get content, how I can connect different things. Research is going to be the key. And how to do research, I'm going to talk about in detail. Okay. What kind of research do we need to do? Next, the script. Once you have done the research, you need to have a proper script, a proper flow. How to write the script, I'm going to talk to you in detail. The next, PowerPoint slides. PowerPoint slides are the key thing in a classroom session, sorry, in an online session. In a classroom session, trust me, there are some faculties who give them a chalk and a board and you get the best presentation in a classroom. I know a few professors of mine who just use a chalk and a blackboard, and trust me, the amount of content that we learn from them is phenomenal. But will the same thing work online? The answer is probably no. You need to have PowerPoint slides. Yes, if you are teaching a technical subject, which I will come towards the end, I have a pointer there as well, then it is always better buy a whiteboard in your house and then focus the camera on that and conduct it like a classroom session. That is the second best option rather than using PowerPoint slides. If a person is not comfortable with PowerPoint slides, you can do a classroom session like you do a classroom session on a whiteboard or a blackboard, and use the same chalk and board duster with the from your waist up onwards. You can fix the camera and you can conduct the session. That's also a pretty good way to conduct a technical subject, especially finance, accountancy. Creating it on PowerPoint is a very cumbersome job, and the continuity gets lost, the kinesthetic feeling gets lost. In such cases, you need to tell your students to keep the cell phone and start making notes. So you probably have that kind of sessions for technical subjects. That is the second best. We'll talk about all the 3 in detail. First thing is research. Now, we need to get information. Unfortunately, what happens is when we are doing research, we get confused between information and data. Okay, processed data is information. Okay, but what happens, we tend to focus on the data part, and then start saying that we have enough information to conduct a class. No, sometimes what we might have is only data with no valid information coming at our from the perspective of the students. Okay, so understand, get all the data, process the data and get the information that is required. So that's the first step. Get information, process the data. It is not data. Oh, data ko leke what can you do to the session makes the big difference. Second, invent the storyline. You have to create a storyline. Like for example, after having enough data, I said, okay, can I connect magic with creating interest and holding on to students' attention? Yes, tick mark. Can I use the magic to make people understand that setting up is much more important than the actual magic? Yes, I can do that by showing them how to do it. So there were tick boxes that went, and then I brought in the magic part in my story. Then I brought the content in my story, and this is how we go. We need to have a skeleton to go ahead and take this information in a processed manner, in a nice line. Now, here is the next thing that I find some of the online courses or online webinars which people do. Um, Too much of irrelevant information comes in on the course or on the thing. In an online session where it's a 1 hour session, 2 hour session, whatever is irrelevant, remove it. If it is of no use, don't even mention it. It's of no use. In a classroom session, we could have used these as fillers. But in an online session where I don't know how the audience is reacting, it could be, you could actually remove it. Just get in what is relevant and make the corresponding number of slides that is required for that. Going further, okay, script. Now, the flow should be simple. Okay, especially because we are all amateurs. I'm not saying I'm a fantastic story writer. No, for me to bring a complex script like Rang De Basanti, amazing script writing. It's won the award for one of the best screenplay awards. But then I am not a Rang De Basanti writer to bring that kind of screenplay. So let us make the flow very simple. One, two, three, four, so on. Let us avoid flashbacks. Let us avoid this thing. But the flow should also create a bit of curiosity as to what is going to be next. At the same time, give them some information about what is going to be next so that they expect that. Now look at my slides. In my previous slide, I said I am going to talk about research script and PowerPoint slide. So all of you know what is coming. So there is a little bit of expectation set. But at the same time, we have not given you too much information on those slides. So when we came to that personal particular slide, you were getting the content of that. So this is all part of the script flow. Keep it simple. Okay. Split the script. This is what I meant by splitting the script. Don't load too much information in particular one slide or one pointer. Every slide and pointer should have a small flow. So that's splitting the script like into multiple slides. Do you want this slide to be split into multiple slides, this pointer to be split into multiple slides? This is called splitting the script. If we split the script, interest is maintained. Next, again I'm repeating, you look at most of the online sessions, if with a mouse in hand, if you are stopping a video in half and then moving on to the next idea, next video, it's only because you did not get what is relevant from the topic and the session. So that's one of the key things. So it's worth repeating here. Keep only what is relevant as part of your program. PowerPoint slides, the key, the heart of your online presentation. Okay, first and foremost, the background. Now I'm giving you an extra tip. If you are using a PowerPoint slide in an auditorium, in a presentation, not online, in a real-time environment, always the background of the PowerPoint is better to be dark and the font to be light color. The reason is, in a dark background, when the font is white, the focus of the eye of the audience comes to the text. In an online scenario, it is the exact opposite. We use a light color background with black fonts. Why? Because the focus of the light from the screen comes to the text. So this is one key. So the background color of an PowerPoint presentation also matters. Avoid white. If it's a faculty presentation, white is fine. But if it is to a student presentation, avoid white. White is too common a color from a student's perspective. Okay, white is too common a color from a student's perspective. So avoid, and it makes it look like this teacher is coming just like doing something and coming. Why? You just have to, it takes hardly a second to put a color background on a PowerPoint. Okay, but yes, having said the same thing, it takes hardly a second, but we want you to work extensively on the PowerPoint slides, because that's the backbone that actually makes a lot of creative curiosity. And when the attention gets diverted, the PowerPoint slide actually brings the attention back to the speaker. Okay, so it's very powerful. Don't neglect your PowerPoint slides. Yes, it is extra work. I am not debating on that. It is definitely extra work. Okay, we need to probably work extra. Use animations. Okay, when you Google for animations, lot of free animations are available. Okay, you want to search animations with transparent background, put the same thing. All these things which I have displayed right now, all the animations are all, they are called 3D stick figures. 3D stick figures. I can send the presentation. I'll share my email. Please send me an email. I will send it to you. I have this email, this presentation, I can send it to you. I've got no issues sending the presentation. Okay, animations. Google, these are called 3D stick figures. 3D stick figures. So what I want you to do is search for 3D stick figures, search whatever topic you want, and add the word with transparent background. Do some research after you have a skeleton and the script in place. Selecting the animations is not at all a problem, and it's actually enjoyable because when you make your animations and you own up this PowerPoint presentation took me roughly around 7 days to make. But every time I take it and I start playing with it and putting these pictures, the excitement बढ़ता है. When the excitement increases, you own up the case, you own up the presentation, the PPT, and when you share with the students, your energy level actually comes out, not because of the PPT, but because of the passion with which you did it, and that is seen by the student. Yes, again I repeat, you need to do 3x the time of work required than an online normal presentation. If my normal presentation 1 hour, this will take you 3 hours. If a 1 day presentation, here it takes you 3 times. This is, be prepared for this. Okay, yeah. Double the number of slides compared to a online presentation. Sorry, real time presentation. Okay, double the number of slides. If you normally use around 20 slides for sorry 10 slides for a 1 hour presentation in a real world, here you need to probably use 20 slides. Okay, the reason is if there is nothing moving on the screen for every 2 or 3 minutes, students are going to get bored, audience are going to get bored. It might be a single pointer, like from animations I move to double the number of slides, something new pops up, another 2 minutes of retention is there from the students perspective. So this kind of, I count even this as multiple pointers of animations. Don't put slides without animations like point one, point two, all the points coming simultaneously in an online presentation. It works in a real time world, but not in an online presentation. Let every pointer come one after one after one. That adds more screen presence for the PowerPoint in front of the audience. Going further, text on slides. Don't put type contents. If you have a challenge in terms of what to speak on that, have a printout of the slides with you and write down pointers as to what you're going to speak in front of you on the table. Okay, the table is never visible on the laptop, this thing, so you have an advantage. Okay, but the eye contact sometimes gets lost. That is still fine because you're still looking at the screen of yours. It is still acceptable. Okay, so text on slides are to convey the pointer. It is only pointers for you. Don't put the full gyan, whatever you are going to speak on. Avoid that. Okay, that's a humble request because at the end of the day, again, I'm repeating the point. If we are doing the same things which we do, our results will be the same. We want something different. We need to fine tune things from the preparation perspective and the presentation perspective. So that's the pointers on PowerPoint slides. Now let's come to the performance, the actual performance. So here, the first pointer which I would love to share is we have two friends. Okay, we have two friends. Friend number one is I, me, myself, a Salman Khan. I'm not a Salman Khan fan, by the way, but understand this. When you're doing an online presentation, you have no friend except you. You are alone. Okay, okay, and your second best friend, if at all it is this gentleman who is there in front of you. Okay, that camera. Okay, so how do we leverage on this? So let's, these are the three things, two pointers which is very important. So let's talk about each one of them in detail. The first one is I, me, myself. So first and foremost is don't lose yourself in an online presentation. Be yourself. Whatever you do in a classroom presentation, please carry it in an online presentation as long as the physical movement part is restricted. Okay, you cannot move around in an online presentation. I move a lot in my online presentation. Okay, I in fact go towards the students and talk from there, but I can't do that in an online session. But I don't leave my basic characteristics of showing my energy level, moving my hands, talking to people. So be yourself. Don't lose yourself in an online presentation. Don't be conscious of this camera. How to not be conscious, I'm going to talk in the next slide when I talk about my best friend camera. Okay, that's one thing. Second, practice the technology. Okay, before you start your online presentation, practice at least once or twice. In fact, twice is an understatement. I have not used webex for the last 6 years, but once we decided that webex is the platform, from day before till today I have done at least, not the same presentation, but to understand the software I have actually practiced it at least 6 to 7 meeting kind of thing, where I got acclimatized to the various nuances of what webex is. Because if I don't understand the technology, I cannot be myself. Okay, next, there is no substitute for knowledge. This is going to be your support system in because sometimes even if you don't know the technology, it is okay, but if they ask you a question and if it comes to the student's knowledge or the audience's knowledge that this gentleman or this lady has not done enough research, then we are in a problem. Okay, so there is no substitute for knowledge. Having the best of PowerPoint presentations is not going to solve the job. The content, the research done to create the content is the backbone. PowerPoints can help, but you have to be yourself, and there is no substitute for knowledge. And the more you are thorough in a particular subject, you will be able to deliver justice to the topic. Okay, so don't neglect the core of our presentations. The core, the substitute for knowledge is not there. you might have the technology support, you might have a PowerPoint support, but if you are not putting in enough time on the content of the or the information that you have processed, then it is going to be a big challenge. Let's go further. Speak a bit loudly. If you're a loudspeaker like me, be normal. But normally we say people who speak less, at least 20 percentage more than what they speak. Okay, normal speak. The reason is uh, to show energy to an audience. In the real world, you can move, you can talk animatedly, you can move your hands, you can walk briskly. It shows energy level. But to a student sitting there with a cell phone in his front and looking at that cell phone, the only way to show energy is by increasing your voice and the voice modulation. Okay, so don't neglect increasing your voice, but at the same time keep your mic volume less, because it should not come glaring into people's earphones. Okay, so but keep the voice a bit louder. Okay, because that is one way in an audio this thing to show that this guy has got high energy level or this lady is high on energy level. So this is a sincere advice. Slow down on the speed if people find it difficult for them to understand. Okay, slow down the speed of talking. Okay, third point which I would like to spend is use videos in your lecture. Today it's a webinar, so I'm not using it. But normally when I do classroom sessions, what I do is I already create a content in YouTube, or not my talking, some pointers, some case studies, some video, nice videos which I'm going to use it for my subject. I create that video and upload it on my site. Okay, I use editing softwares. I'll share with you a couple of editing softwares, and then what I do, I put it on YouTube, and in my chat session, I type it on my lecture, online lecture. I type that link. I say, go look at the video and come back to this session in 3 minutes time, 5 minutes time, depending upon the video length. Two things happen. One is it is a welcome relief. Why? Looking at me, looking at the slides, suddenly they go to YouTube, see a video, and then they come back. It is like rejoining the classroom again. So that fatigue is lost. So their energy level again increases, and it also creates a nice welcome relief or a little bit of variance to your lecture. Creating videos, you can even download a video, you can even use somebody else's videos and take them to there and bring them back. These are the tools that is available on your fingertips in the online world, which is a big advantage. Just like how in an online session we show videos, use the same technique here as well, no problem. Okay, so this is something. There are some video softwares, they are not free, but there are some basic free versions. One is Camtasia, Camtasia. I'll just type it. This is not free, but you can use it to create simple video presentations. It's a nice software, and it's very user friendly. This is one of the softwares. There's one more called as Filmora. I use these two to create videos. Film ORA, Filmora, Wondershare or something. So these two you can Google, and in case somebody is a little bit tech savvy, wants to create videos, use it. Okay. Next point. This is one thing faculties need to accept and embrace it. Keep smiling and nodding when students are talking or the participants are talking. You need to keep nodding, because that's the only way to show people that you are interested in what you are talking. And kuch bhi ho jaye, don't stop smiling. That's one of your powerful strengths, especially in a online session, so don't miss that. Okay, I'm sure this is. Now, one very good tip which accidentally I was doing, and then I came to know that it actually is helping: give a running commentary. For example, you are changing a slide. Like whenever I was changing the slide, I was actually telling you people that, okay, I am just changing the slide, give me a second, and here it goes, yeah, done. Okay, so what, see, but I'll again do it. Look at how the connectivity gets established. So right now I'm going to come back on video, so I'm just going to stop the sharing. Yeah, and now I'm on the full screen. Hi. See, what happened here was, when I brought you back here, I could have just said, okay, I'm coming on slideshow. Observe the difference. This is where what happens. Now let me again open the chat window, because every time I open this, the chat goes, yeah. So now you saw what I did. when you are giving a commentary as to what you're doing, the other people, the audience starts understanding what you're doing. 10 seconds of silence is very big in an online world. 10 seconds of silence or even 30 seconds of silence in a real time session is not big. Okay, because they see you walking, they see you picking up the duster, you see you rubbing the board. But here, even if you're going to change the slide, they need to know that you are changing the slide. So give that running commentary as to what you're doing. It keeps them connected to you at all times. Give cues. Suppose you share a nice joke, it's okay to giggle. So this is what I was saying. Got it? So when you giggle, when you give a cue, the reciprocation is faster. These are drama techniques, but part and parcel. It's an online world. We need to incorporate this. Okay. So here we go further to the next pointer. The hums and the ahas, they are not seeing. So if somebody gives you a nice point, give an adjective. Lovely point. Fantastic. Go on. Uh-huh. Make it loud. Let them hear those pointers. This is the key. I'll take that question later. It's a nice question. How to conduct lab online? Doubtful if we'll be able to do that. But then yes, we'll take those kind of questions later. Let me go with the flow, otherwise it'll disrupt me. Yeah. So make the hums and the ahas louder so that connectivity gets established between me and the students or the participants. Okay. So this comes to the end of this slide. Yeah, this is a key. Some basic tips. I'm not going into hardcore drama sessions. I'm also passionate about theater and drama. So I have done a lot of drama workshops where I understand a lot of concepts. First and foremost, line of eyesight should be, the camera webcam should be facing you. Some people, you know what they do? They take the camera in front of them and they start talking. The recording happens, especially if it's a video recording. The camera is below them, below their eyes. So what happens? They look down, and when those kind of videos come across in a video, the connectivity does not get established. So normally keep the as much as possible, be on the same straight line of the camera or the lens. Okay. Remove the mirror image. Some softwares make you come with a mirror image because it's a selfie camera that is being used, especially in videos you are taking from your cell phone. So make sure that you are not in a mirror image kind of a scenario. So that is one thing, because if you raise your right hand, the right hand should be raised. It should not be the mirror image which raised. So take care of that one thing. It's a technical issue, but make sure that you are taking care of that. This is the age-old technique of how to make a camera your friend. We say lens ke upar kisi ka, put somebody else's photograph on top of the lens, and that gives you a pleasant feeling, and you talk to that person as if that person is there in front of you. Otherwise, also practice talking to a camera. Start taking videos of yourself. Just like that animation is doing there. Fall in love with your camera. Jitna ho sakta hai, enjoy the show, and then it becomes very natural. Again, you become very natural in front of the camera. One more technique which you can do is think about one favorite student of yours who is in front of there, and you think that you are talking to that person. Imagination works. Practice it. It becomes very easy. Light should fall on you. I'm using a table lamp and the window light is coming here, but still it doesn't work. Okay. See, now I gave you a cue. By this giggling, I gave you a cue. Okay. And when I gave this cue, even a person who probably did not feel like laughing laughed. Okay. So this is the I'm even right now in the heat, I'm actually using a table lamp because I just switch off the table lamp and you can see the difference. Can you see the difference? Now, light should fall on you. The moment light comes, there is a little bit of better effect. So that is something which I insist that make sure that you are facing a light. Never have a light behind you. Background wall color. Two things. Two types of sessions. Two suggestions. If you are using a background wall like what I am using right now with a PowerPoint and me coming on top of it. Okay, basically I'm sharing a PowerPoint and my video. In such cases, the background wall preferably should be light. But again, it's a challenge. This is the best practice because best practice. But at the same time, we can't change our houses in this Corona times to go ahead and change the house or to change the wall or paint the wall. Not possible. But that is one thing. Second thing is, but you can find a particular wall on your house which is lighter. The second thing which you can do is backdrop. Suppose you are going to talk for 2 hours, no slide share. You're only going to talk. In such cases, what you will do is use some backdrop of your library or your books or something that creates a value add. People some of these people who come from the newsletters, it shows that office image, it shows that you are being professional, and you have a nice table setup. Just pick out whichever suits you, which you can use. I'm not saying it's 100% necessary, especially in an online world today, but this is something which is required. Okay, fine. Somebody wants to leave, they have a session at 5 p.m. Okay. Last point which I wanted to come here is the aftermath. Leverage the gyan with a question answer session. Talk to students and ask people these questions. Talk to students in terms of asking people their opinions, okay, and make them answer. Let them come on video, nothing wrong. Okay, if the bandwidth is low, at least on audio, make them talk and make sure that the questions are answered. The next session should always be started with a summary of the previous session, so there's a connectivity established. If it's a one-time session, no worries, but otherwise you need to establish connection with the previous session. So this is one of the very key takeaways which I would suggest. Okay, some general tips. Please understand there are some technical differences and real-time differences between a webinar and a web classes. Webinar is like your real-time seminar, and web classes are like your real-time classroom session. Webinar is more like one to many kind of a thing, and question answers are taken towards the end. But in a classroom session, after every topic, I would suggest ask questions or take a small question answer session. So the interaction after every 15-20 minutes actually reinforces the learning. So this is a small difference. Today what I'm doing is more centric towards webinar. Of course, some questions are getting popped up. I'm answering them as and when it is the same. But it is still not a two-way interaction like a classroom session. So to make the classroom session empathetic, what I would request you to do is make sure that you take after every topic you can encourage question answer sessions and clarify. Okay. Technical sessions, I repeat this, use boards and keep the camera a bit here, but use a stand so that the camera does not move. And in a technical session, I would say, please use a cell phone camera. The lenses of a cell phone camera are much, 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 much better. So the clarity of the camera is much more stronger. So that is one advice which I will say. Okay, but use boards and write on the board so people can see what you're writing. Okay, and then the focus is clear. Yes. Dress professionally like you will dress in a classroom session. Okay, because coming in t-shirts for an online session, even though we are from home, actually makes the situation look very light, and the entire thing would go for a toss. If we are doing a session, we better look professional even in an online session. Okay. Practice. Yeah, now one more tip. Any session that you're doing, you actually need to see how the audience view of the software is. You have decided the software, everything is fine, but have you seen how the audience view of the software is? Most of the times they are different things. What I am seeing in my screen is not what you are seeing in your screen. Both are different. That's a different view that is coming in my this thing. My video is on the right side bottom, but in your screen the video is on the right center top. Both are different, but I would never have known this. I would never have known this, because if I did not know this, what happens is, then there is how I look at the camera, everything would change. So look at how the audience view of the same session is, the participants view of it. How do you do this? Set up a session, tell somebody else, or if you have two laptops, you do the session once and look at the view from the other. Otherwise, do a session for somebody, tell that guy to take photographs on WhatsApp and send it so you understand how their view is. Okay, so that's one more tip. Know the software, again repeating it, because that's the backbone. Okay. So I'm kind of done. I'm now open to question sessions. Feel free to bombard me with questions. Let's see how you can take slides. I will mail it to you. Just send me a mail at this email address, proframanivenkat@gmail.com. I'll share the slides. Yeah. So feel free for any questions, and then I have one more slide, the last slide. Yeah. I would prefer you to still type it. It would be better so that it gets documented. Yes, please. Okay, questions, please. No, no, no. You'll have to send me a mail to that, please. Don't bombard it here because it's going to be very tough for me to copy paste from here. Send me a mail. I'll just reply to it with my PPT. That's a promise. That's a promise. But right now, I would be interested in questions. Please, questions, please. Hello. I hope it was a value add.
Hello, sir. My name is Simon.
Yes, Simon. Tell me,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Yes, of course. Loud and clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, this lockdown was so sudden that for many of our students, they had to leave city suddenly without their textbooks. So many of them are without a textbook right now because none of them thought that this will go on like this. So it's a big challenge actually when you want to read out from the book. Then some of the students would have, some won't have it. So can you give us some tip how to handle this? Thank you.
Sir, before that, can I know which subject do you take? B school or
I'm not in a base school. I'm in a journalism school.
lovely? Sir, I don't have much expertise on journalism, but you all use case studies to teach.
No, not really. I mean, because we just discuss various aspects of media.
But you
So
don't
in
have
that,
an
we
online version of those books, online version of the books, PDFs.
no, we do have, they do have.
So
But then
those
again, I
videos can be
somehow feel
downloaded. The PDFs can be downloaded and blasted on
do
WhatsApp
that.
or
We can do that. But somehow I feel there is some disconnect. And I feel students with the textbook has an advantage.
definitely,
But
sir.
these students,
Sir,
because this was so sudden to leave the city, really quite a few. We have students even from Kashmir. I have students from Calcutta, from Assam. So that's
lovely.
a problem. Thank you.
Okay, so there are twofold to this particular question. First is I will say that it happened suddenly, yes, but let us not take that as a let us take it as a challenge in our stride and move forward. Number one. Second thing is, sir, this is my experience with a lot of B schools where I actually work with. I work with and engage with relationship with around 60, 70 B schools. Jitna bhi textbook we give them, blast them with textbooks. So just before the exam, all they study is PowerPoint slides of the teacher. Okay, I don't know how it happens in the journalism, but then yes, from a solution perspective, what we can do is somewhere we can work with some content, online content, and share the PDFs. It might work, but then yes, we have to probably instill the psychological aspect in the student side also. Now they also have to face the situation. Colleges are not going to reopen immediately for the students at least. So how do we impress upon them? We have to make sure that they understand that exams will be there. Here डालो, carrot stick, carrot of giving them ज्ञान works. Put them a stick that how you study is your challenge, but then exams रहेगा तो you have to study and participate in that. So that is one thing. So this is the best thing I think I can hand journalism. I don't have much thing, but with respect to MBA subjects, yes, you could always. There are a lot of online textbooks available. There are PDFs available for virtually any subject, and this. But I think YouTube will have a lot of videos in your area of expertise journalism. So if we can do some research on YouTube and search for the right videos, we can actually share those videos to those students, and that would actually be much more interesting for them. This is the small two pence of thought process which I can actually share from journalism perspective. Okay, I'll just try to take in. There have been two questions that have been blasted left, right, and center. One by one, let us go. Of course, please drop.
Sir, sir,
Sir,
hello.
one second. Let me finish off all the text questions, and I'll take your question. Preferably drop in a text message. It's better. Sir, please answer the question. Which one, ma'am? What was that question? I forgot. Let's Neha ma'am type it again. Is it good to have video session or non-video session? Sir, today the attention span of any human being is only 30 seconds. Okay, that is scientifically proved. After 30 seconds, the mind starts wandering. Oh, I saw ghumta hai. So that is one of the reasons why even in a real-time session we say use PowerPoints. Why? Because when the attention goes from the speaker, it comes on the PowerPoint. Because of the PowerPoint, it will again come back to the speaker. So in the online world, you probably have to have as much numbers of
Only
attention
how much?
reinforce.
Number.
Once again, you need to have attention reinforces. So one attention reinforcement is a PowerPoint. One attention reinforces your video with a little bit of motion that you do with your hand. So these are attention reinforcers. So you need to have it. It makes better. नहीं है, sometimes bandwidth issue. Suppose my bandwidth of my session is not strong, then I'm forced to switch off my video. That's the second best option, because you are taking basically wiring all the options and deciding on a priority which is better. At the end of the day, you felt that completing the session is more important than the best of the session. It's a priority which you took. So that is a decision which you take. Okay. Is it good to have video session answered? I hope I answered. Otherwise, you can pause in your corollary question. Video session. Please let me know how to share the PPT in WebEx. Okay. Now, if the audio was bad somewhere, it is probably from the other person's perspective. Probably we are, so that would be a small challenge. Audio WebEx is a high loading software. It loads the system pretty much, bandwidth gets choked. Yes, that could be an issue. There is a share option there on the WebEx. So you click on the share and then you particular share the, don't share desktop screen, share only the application which you are using, like in this case PowerPoint. Okay. What do we don't have a whiteboard for? Chart paper. Chart paper can work. In fact, you get those post-it clips. You can put a chart paper and keep rolling it one after one. See, we need to be innovative to find out, we need to be innovative in terms of finding out a solution. Can you suggest some video client like myslideshow.com? Sir, online video platform, they all, there is one thing called as Prezi. Prezi, I don't know the exact spelling. Prezi videos. If you use Prezi videos, the PowerPoint becomes phenomenal. But you don't use PowerPoint, it becomes into a video slide, but it's too good. Prezi. Just see Prezi PowerPoints. Presie or something. Prezi. It's a nice one. This is like myslideshow.com. It's far better than myslideshow.com. Prezi. If you hold on for a second, I'll just probably Google it and give it to you, or you just text me, I'll send you the link. Next, video creating platforms. Okay. Once again, any special tips for teaching? Tips for teaching practical subjects, like for example, accountancy, like Murli sir asked in the morning. Accountancy वगैरह के लिए chalk and board ही best है. You can't substitute that. Like if I have to teach mathematics, using a slide does not make much sense. So in such cases, the whiteboard technique on the wall, use it on the wall, it works. Okay. Please let me know how. Okay, yeah. Sneha ma'am, the question that she asked me is, how do you conduct role play or games online? So I'll just share with you what, this is what I said. This is a very good question. It was a challenge for me. In fact, I'll share you two experiences which I did. Last week I did one NLP workshop, neuro linguistic programming, on advanced psychology. So there, what we do is you are supposed to look at the participant in a normal real time and see the eyeball movement to understand whether this person is visualizing something or remembering something from the past. Now, how on earth could I do it online? I was thinking, I never got an idea. But then what we did was, we shared a particular phone numbers of one participant, and both of them did a WhatsApp call and then came on the stage on the session back. One on in a college in Pune, we did a session on case studies, on case study as a pedagogy tool. It was a 5-day program, 1 hour, 1.5 hours daily. We did that for the faculties, how to use case studies. So when they were discussing a case study, what we did was we made the online room in Zoom resemble that room, and only those 5 participants who are discussing on the case study will actually have their audio video listed, and all the remaining people would be mute with no observations till the 20 minutes of discussion take place. So that was one thing which worked. So like that also you can get all your students participating online and put 5 or 6 people in the group. They will unmute themselves and discuss, and the remaining people will mute. Even though we have a point, we don't talk. Only after the 20-minute deadline will we start participating. So that was something which was done, and it worked. And it worked. Okay. Prezi. Yeah, Prezi. Perfect. Instagram.com. Okay, that's a tip somebody is giving. Is it a tip? You can use whiteboard on WebEx for accounts. I do. It's interesting for subjects. But I need to have a. The challenge here is whiteboard hai. But writing, unless you have a scribbling pad or a stylus, it becomes very tough for drawing with a mouse. That was the challenge which people had. Ma'am, which tool is preferable? Ma'am or sir, I do not know. I think it's Srisha. Which tool is preferable? I leave it to you. We have shared a few names. Google, play with it. Find one which you accept easily to. So, computer lab session impossible from my thought perspective unless somebody comes with a very creative idea. मेरा दिमाग काम नहीं कर रहा है. I don't think I don't have the answer to that. I'm not saying it's not possible. That's a wrong statement. I don't have an answer how to do a computer lab session for BCA students exactly. But you can try. You can try this thing, but you will have to do it one to one. If you are willing to do one to one for a lab session one to one, then you can use a team viewer, and you can give access of your system to them. So the system is installed in the software is installed in your system, and they come in through what do you call team viewer, and then you guide them on that, and you can take a video of that and send it to others. That's the only way that I can think of right now. There might be some other situations possible, but one to one, you want to teach one student at a time, then yes, you can use TeamViewer, give access to your software, so they get your backend access and they can do it. It's possible. I hope I answered that. सभी एक साथ बोलने लगता है तो so that is one of the reasons why you need to mute all like I did. It's a big challenge, so you need to mute all and allow one by one. Or softwares like, for example, in Zoom, it has an option that mute all, and they can only raise their hand. And if they raise a hand, I give them audio control. But in WebEx, that is not there. In fact, anybody can even unmute their video and come on video. Okay, so that is a challenge in WebEx. But Zoom gives you that flexibility of muting everybody. They cannot unmute themselves. Only I can unmute them as a host. So that option is there with some softwares. Any such, ma'am, Subramania sir, LMS software. I am not aware of much LMS softwares. However, we are creating some gamifying contents. I am mentoring a company which is into gamification. So probably we can take it offline. You can text me on my email address. How to go with group discussion online? Ma'am, whoever asked me that question, I don't know the name. Okay, font size is a bit too large. I need to get my specs. Okay, how to go with group discussion online? Usually everybody starts speaking on. It's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Let them talk online. No problem. They will find a way out. In fact, GDs people start talking simultaneously even in a real time world. It's okay. It will buffer up. It will buffer, and the person with more stronger conviction actually speaks longer. Can you suggest some free tools to create infographic resumes? Excel is a fantastic tool to create infographic resumes as long as you know how to create the content. That is possible. It's not a ban. I am using a paid version of Zoom. Yes, Zoom grew overnight into a very big company. There were privacy issues. It's not about security issues, it's more about privacy issues. Their policies were not strong, but being a US company, Zoom is still a US company. The CEO has taken charge of it. No, the entire team is now working on bug fixing. I'm not advocating Zoom at all. Yes, Zoom has its own challenges, but you can mitigate those challenges by creating a new ID without sharing with your Gmail, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Don't sign in through those apps. It's possible. Okay, before we come to stuff, so with this we kind of wrap up. My last slide. If that slide is not done, I will not be able to do justice to what I shared today. So the last slide. Let me just come back to the chat window again. So that I can see if anybody is typing. Okay. Special thanks to Radha ma'am, Dean of RIMS College. Thanks for this opportunity. Seriously, it was a fantastic initiative on your front to actually give it free. There were some challenges in terms of giving it only to 100 people. That is a limitation of the software. But your interest was to take care of this and do it free for the participants. So thanks, and sincerely once again, all participants, thank you for this particular session and interacting, asking me questions. I hope I did justice to what I did. Please write this link. We want you to register for your e-certificates. If you don't, this link is going to be open only for the next 1 hour. This link will be open only for the next 1 hour. If you don't register, it means you have not attended this workshop, and that is one of the reasons why you might not get your e-certificate. I am typing the link. If you want your e-certificate, please type, go into this. I'm typing it here again, RIMS webinar. It is tinyurl.com/RIMS webinar. This thing, please type it, this link. I will keep it open for 1 hour. After 1 hour, we'll block this. You will not be registered. So this certificates, e-certificates will be given only to those people who are registering on it. And in case anybody wants to touch base with me, you can always drop in a mail, proframanivenkat@gmail.com. So thanks once again.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello,
Yeah, ma'am.
Mr. Ramni. Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Radha. I wish to sincerely thank Professor Ramni Venkat for putting us through a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
We have given him just a short while of time to prepare for this, yet he has come so strongly, and we all really enjoyed this presentation. Thank you, Mr. Ramni Venkat, for this.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you all. The participants from different colleges. Please register for the certificates and you will receive your certificates in a day or two. Thank you all for your overwhelming response. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.